Hey everybody, this is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute, and you're listening to my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose, where we discuss the importance of purpose in our everyday lives. Discovering and living out your purpose keeps you focused on God's purpose. That is sharing the good news of salvation with others. This podcast is for people like me, still searching for the answers to who am I and why am I here? You and I were designed and created by God for purpose, and we have much to do. You can listen and subscribe to my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose with Brenda Devine on Anchor and all other podcast platforms. Hey, this is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute. Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for another episode of my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose. So today's topic is unpacking your fear. And the key word is unpacking, which is an action word. Not just unpack, because what I found is that our fears are not always just tied to the immediate response of I'm afraid of. But there's some other things, some other instances, some other experiences tied to fear. So it's not just unpack. It's unpacking because it's a process. So I picked this topic because I surround myself with people that are about purpose. And I am learning more and more that even when we know our purpose, even when we know that God has given us this assignment or assignments, even though we know we are created and designed for purpose, there is still fear attached to purpose. So I've shared with you in previous episodes about my own experiences with fear. But what we need to really dig into is the importance of unpacking that fear. Many of us walk around years carrying a whole bunch of baggage that's never addressed. Whether it's something that is immediately apparent to you, or something that you've pushed down, or something that you really, some feeling that you have that you really don't know what it's about. You can't really lay your hands on it, but you know that you're fearful. It is important as an adult to unpack, and it's a process to unpack your fears, to know what your fears are, to think about your fears, to meditate on those fears, to get an understanding why you feel that way about your fears, and to address them. One of my biggest fears was, I'll give you an example, my biggest fear was money. Having enough money to do what I want to do. And in my journey of purpose, when I got an understanding of what God wanted me to do, I saw it as, I got to pay for this. Oh, okay. Because I didn't understand. God's going to provide. But it was a fear of, okay, all right, I'm going to have to do this, this, and this I'm just jumping into it as opposed to sitting down, being quiet and listening. So I jump into it thinking I've got to control everything. And that was a struggle. That was a challenge. That was a big struggle of unloosening that fear. And when I finally did what God asked me to do, and trust me, it was a process. It was a lot of crying, rolling on the ground, praying, and I finally submitted and was obedient, because I realized that in order for me to be what He has called me to be, I have to do what He has asked me to do. I have to be obedient. God is not going to force me to do anything. He allows us to choose. So in order for me to align myself with what He's created, I had to be obedient, because doing what God asked me to do has a lot to do with who I am. Your purpose is aligned with who you are, your identity, what you're made of, all the different components of your personality are a piece or a portion, or I want to say all a combination of who you are. So after I got over that struggle with fear, and it was the biggest hurdle I had ever faced, and afterwards it was so freeing, because once I got past that big hurdle of fear, it was like, man, I could be bold about anything. I can do anything because God is with me. He's going to strengthen me. He's going to give me the resources that I need. He's going to draw me to the people I need. He's going to draw me to the things that I need. I'm going to be drawn to people that can help. I'm going to be drawn to people that I can help. He's going to make the way. I don't have to try to figure it out how step 1, step 2, step 3, read a book, do this. I don't have to go through all that. All I have to do is to put Him in front and trust Him and follow. So, and when I say trust, that means that's hard, because that's part of the fear. But you trust God because you know He is the creator. He's going to work it out. He's got it. He can take care of it. But going back to the fear, I realized that it wasn't just the fear, it was the being in control. So think about it. We're going backwards. We're starting with purpose, being obedient, and then we're going backwards to, fear. Okay, fear is the response. Fear is the emotion. Fear is not really the thing that's messing it up. So for me, it was control. I need to be in control. Okay, I need to, finance-wise, I need to know how much this is, how much that is, how much do I have to save, how much do I have to do this and that. I had to be in control. So control is really about me being prideful. Yeah. So we're taking it from purpose, fear, now we're pride. So pride about, okay, I got this, I can do this, I have the ability. No. God is in control. So I messed up there too. God is in control. So I don't have to worry about being in control. This is the part about trusting Him. I wasn't trusting God. I was trusting my abilities. Who am I? I don't own anything. I don't control anything. I don't even own my own breath. But I'm trying to control the process, which is not what I'm here for. I'm supposed to be the servant. I'm supposed to follow. I'm not supposed to be setting the rules. Setting the rules to God is saying what? You don't really know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about, God. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to do it this way. That's pride. Okay? So we got to be honest with ourselves. So let's back it up some more. Pride. So if I think that I'm in control and I'm layered with pride, Isn't that idolatry? Isn't that me worshiping myself? Yes. See where we went? We went down. We started taking this back. Okay, so now I'm worshiping myself instead of worshiping my creator. So let's get this right. The creation is worshiping the creation. That doesn't make any sense. We have to worship our creator. God is our creator. We didn't make the world. We didn't make the universe. We're not making people. Okay? We're not ruling. We're not everywhere all at one time. We're not ruling the world, the universe, and people. We're not doing anything. We can't even manage ourselves most of the time. So we cannot be worshiping ourselves. That's where our little minds are, that we can control everything, that we are idol worshiping ourselves. Okay, so now we're gonna bag it back some more. Okay, so from purpose to fear to pride to in control and idolatry. Now let's think about who kicked all this off. Lucifer. Right. Lucifer in heaven with God somehow manifested in his mind that he should be worshipped. He should be in control. He should be ruling everything. He should be figuring out everything. Okay? You see the connection. This is what we want to avoid. We don't want to fall into the same scenario as Lucifer, worshiping ourselves. So when we are unpacking our fear, we have to go backwards and go, where is this coming from? What happened along the way? What made me feel like I need to control something all the time? Did someone take something from me? Did someone hurt me? Did someone say something to me? And when you think about it, now that I'm saying it, when someone hurts you, or you feel like someone's hurt you, when you feel like someone said something to offend you, when you feel like someone's done something to you, they essentially are taking something away from you. What was taken from you? Who took something from you? Who hurt you? Where is the disconnect? If you can do the work of unpacking your fear, your experiences, your responses, you will be able to unpack your fear. When you unpack your fear, and when you step out, living a life of purpose, and being obedient to that fear, that one big thing that's holding you back, you will find on the other side such a place of freedom, of liberty, of boldness, of resilience, because you've gotten through that one thing, that one fear, and you've started to identify all the lies, all the hurt, all the misunderstandings that you've held on to all this time, and realizing that in the perspective, when you align it with what God has for you to do, there is no comparison. There is none. What mama said, what daddy did, what that person said, when you finally unpack it and be honest and look at it for what it really is a distraction. It's a roadblock. Okay? What you need to do is to get closer to God in your relationship. Read more about, or should I say, read about what is going on with you. Read the Bible about what is going on with you. Read other readings, biblical readings, Christian readings about what you are going through to get some other perspectives and some revelations. Pray about it. Get an understanding of where you are. It will open up your mind and open up your perspectives about things. And you will come to realize that in this place of being with no fear, being bold and resilient, being confident in who you are and what God has given you to do, you will find that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Because Christ is the model. It's not just saying Christ strengthens me, but you realize that Christ is the model and he is the teacher. And when you learn about how he's gotten through his things on earth, you can use him as your model, your model to get through whatever you're getting through, because you're going to ask him to draw close to you and you're going to draw close to him and you're going to learn from him. But that comes from reading and studying. But the very first thing is being honest about unpacking what is really bothering you. Your fear is just a response. What we fail to do is to unpack those things in our lives that have distracted us, wounded us, crippled us, put us on pause, make us think that we're not good enough, make us think that we're rejected, or bitter, angry, just broken people. How are we going to be about purpose if we're constantly dragging luggage, baggage, brokenness year to year with us? How are you going to encourage someone and you're not encouraging yourself? You got to address your stuff, unpack your issues. Stop playing around. Stop thinking I got time. Stop, because if you think about it, if you're not really doing your purpose, why are you here? You're here for God. You're here to be a servant. You're here to do what he has called you to do. If you're so afraid to do what he's asked you to do because you're not trusting him, you're not unpacking anything, you just don't pause, what's the point? We are here so that others can hear the good news. But you have to also hear the good news and understand your part, your place, your purpose related to the good news. So, let's just make this base point. Unpack, spend some time alone, spend some time with God in prayer. Read, ask the Holy Spirit to show you what is hidden in your heart, to bring it to your attention so that it can be addressed. And he will bring it. And then you have to acknowledge it, understand it, start to read and understand what it really means, why it has impacted you so much. And then let God heal you of it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have triggers from time to time, but you will be healed of it. And then you can be who you really are. And then all the little things that go on in life, it might trip you up from time to time, but you know that you are about your purpose. You know who you are. You know what God has given you to do. And you are fully aware of all your gifts and your talents and your skills. And what you're going to find is, as you walk through that fear, as you walk through it, you're going to find out even more about you. You're going to find out things about you that you didn't even think you could do. Things that you never even imagined you would conceive to even do. God has everything already in you. It's already there. You just have to get past the fear. Stop giving fear so much importance in your life. And unpack those issues. Okay? I know it's hard. You'll be all right. You'll cry a little bit. You'll roll on the ground. But guess what? You will come out of it. You will be bold. You will be resilient. You will press. And you will bring your gifts, your talents, and your skills. And you will share them with others. They will see God's glory in you. And they will want the same for themselves. And that is what we are here for. So get past the fear. It's just an emotion. Once you do the work of unpacking, you're not going to have to worry about that anymore. But you got to do the work. So stop being afraid about being afraid. So this is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute. And I'm not even going to tell you to marinate it on this time. I just want you to get about doing your business. Unpack your fears. Brenda Devine, Purpose 8 Institute. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on my podcast, Living a Life of Purpose, on Anchor and all other major podcast platforms. To learn more about Purpose 8 Institute and our ministry of sharing the importance of purpose, please visit our website, www.purpose8institute.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and even TikTok. If you would like to learn more about purpose beyond this podcast, Living a Life of Purpose, you can also purchase one of my books that are available on my website, purpose8institute.com, and also on Amazon.